In this video, we're tracking a series of storms in the southeast that will train over the same areas, leading to significant flooding issues. Along with the heavy rain, we have a marginal severe weather threat to throw in the mix. And then we're looking at the possibility of another Arctic outbreak, which will lead to something very interesting you don't want to miss. All that and more coming up. Alright, here's a big old look at the United States of America, and we've got a little bit of lake-enhanced and lake-effect snow over here in New York. Look at this, Carthage is getting in on some snow, Syracuse was getting it earlier, now it's moving into the western Albany area. This will be happening on and off all day long. Also, as we scroll down here to southeastern Texas near Bryan and Houston and Galveston, this area down here, we're seeing the beginning stages of this big storm that we're talking about that's going to cause all the severe weather and flooding. Right now, it's just a little bit of rain, little rain showers there in Huntsville. By the time this video goes up though, it should be raining on and off from everywhere from Dallas all the way down to Austin and maybe even as far east as Shreveport, Louisiana. We've also got some light snow showers in Colorado and Kansas, and actually last night Denver, Colorado got some pretty good snow as a pretty intense snow band went through, and the heaviest area of precipitation is taking place up here in the Pacific Northwest right now. Washington, Oregon, and Idaho, you're getting it. In fact, with this storm that we're seeing right now, the mountains up here in Washington and Oregon could see over 30 inches of snow, and this is just a strong storm, guys. Wherever you live, if you're seeing snow, it's going to be heavy. If you're seeing rain, it's going to be heavy. We're going to be dealing with flooding and maybe even some thunderstorms out there, depending on where you live as this comes in. All right, let's pull out that magic crystal ball of the weather world and let's look into the future on the weather models. All right, once again, this area down here is under a marginal risk for severe weather today from the Storm Prediction Center, and let's try to figure out why, and let's really nail down those threats and how severe they actually may be. Here's a look at our simulated radar as we go into the future today. As you can tell, at 1 p.m. today, we're still just going to be seeing those light rain showers down here in southeastern Texas, moving up towards Dallas, like I said, and Shreveport. And then 2 or 3 o'clock comes around 4 p.m. That's when our storms really start firing up. And then the rainfall just gets absolutely insane as we head into the overnight hours. Look at this. Look at that radar reflectivity. This is what it could look like tonight at 2 a.m. as just intense thunderstorms are going to be training over the same areas over and over again. Not only is this a severe weather threat, guys, it is a flash flood threat. If you live in that red circle and you live in a flood prone area, prepare now, because this is a very significant threat for flash flooding. But yeah, this is what the radar is going to look like later today. Let's look at those severe weather parameters and see how severe these can get. The first thing I like to look at is the surface cape. That's convective available potential energy. Basically just the fuel that's needed for supercells to form or big thunderstorms to form. And what you want to see are values over 1500, right? And we do have that down here in southern Texas. But where our shortwave is up here in North Texas, where the convection's actually happening, we have pretty much no cape. No convective energy out there, and that tells me that we're probably not going to see any sort of supercells. We do get a little bit of convective energy out here in northeastern Texas and southwestern Arkansas. That's just going to add fuel to the fire for the heavy rainfall. I don't think we're going to be talking about significant severe weather here. Another fuel that storms use is temperature, heat, you know, and we're not going to be very hot where these storms are forming. Look, we're in the upper 50s over here west of Dallas-Fort Worth area, but just to the east there in northeastern Texas, we do try to breach 70 degrees. And this is the area right in here that if we do get any sort of storms today and they go to severe, this is where it will happen, because this is the most abundant energy that we have, and it's still not much. The gradient isn't very strong, but the heat is there. Okay, now also dew points. Dew points are important, but they are going to be low. Once again, actually really low where these storms are forming, so I'm not too concerned about that. But check this out. This is precipitable water. We are going to have a significant amount of moisture available in the atmosphere when these storms start going up. This is 6 p.m. We're talking about 1.25 inches to 1.5 inches of precipitable water in northeastern Texas, western Louisiana, southwestern Arkansas. And this tells me that the storms are probably going to be pretty high precipitation storms, once again leading to the flooding problem. Additionally, since these are cold core and cold cap storms, if these do actually reach severe limits, we're going to be talking about big time hailstones with some of these storms, especially in northeast Texas there. And then if we look at the 500 millibar relative vortex vorticity, you can see our shortwave coming in pretty good right there. It doesn't look as intense as it has on previous model runs, but it is there and it is providing lift out ahead of it. I see a lot of unidirectional flow here, so the tendency for cyclonic rotation is low. So that means you're not in tornado town, okay? I would be extremely surprised if we saw a tornado from this setup. We're mainly talking about heavy rain, flooding, and some big hailstones. All right, zooming out to the whole United States again, looking at the Euro model. Let's really dive in here and take a look at every aspect of the weather, because each part plays a role in creating what's going to happen in the future. This is another result of the Pacific Jet just slamming into Washington this season. They have just not gotten a break. Look at the inundation of snowfall and rainfall. Once again, we're talking about snow totals of 30, 40 inches in the mountains up here, and that will also affect the mountainous regions of Idaho, and we may even see some snow down here near Idaho Falls and Boise as that storm comes down. And look, it tries to come through the Rockies, and honestly, if that disturbance could have made it all the way into the Midwest out here, we probably could have seen some merging going on with our storm system down in the south, and we probably could have been talking about a major snowstorm, but those Rocky Mountains really wrang all the moisture and energy out of that storm before they got down there. Now your eyes should focus down here to the southeast once again, and here's our insurgence of moisture today. This is what's going to be happening, okay? We have a zonal flow going from west to east, and we just have a constant belt of moisture from the Gulf of Mexico coming in. As soon as that moisture hits that zonal flow, it gets boom, flung out east, and it's just hitting the same areas over and over again. That's why I believe we're going to have a very significant flooding problem in Arkansas, Mississippi, Tennessee, northwestern Alabama. I'll show you more about that here in a second, but just look at the constant inundation of rainfall there for these areas. Once again, if you live in the southeast right and through here, prepare now for flooding. But this first little wave, this first little disturbance over here is going to carry all the way up into the northeast. And now watch this up here. We've got a little clipper coming through Manitoba into Ontario, and we do get some interaction there. Look at this. We got snow in eastern Pennsylvania on Saturday, February 27th at 4 a.m. We've also got snow breaking out for Wisconsin and Michigan up here at the same time, and it's going to start interacting with that low pressure system up there in Canada. And by the time it gets into Quebec, there we go. We're talking about some pretty heavy snow from Montreal down into Vermont, New Hampshire, and Maine. This is probably going to bring some snow accumulation up there for you, especially if you're in Maine. So watch out for that on Sunday, February 28th. Now notice down here to the south in the coastal regions of New England, we're all rain here. So I don't think this is going to be a snow threat. Okay, eyes back on the southeast. As this goes off to the east, check this out. Another wave of moisture comes up, and now we're talking about storms and heavy rain once again across Missouri, Oklahoma, Arkansas, southern Illinois, all of Kentucky, Indiana, and Ohio. And that presses down back into those hard-hit areas of Tennessee, Mississippi, Arkansas, and Texas. And look, guys, we're just talking about really heavy rain over and over again on the same areas. And then look, while this is all going on, we have a low pressure system up here that's bringing down our first shot of cold air for the northeast. I've been talking about this for a while, guys. I do think we're going to have another Arctic blast, and it's going to be confined up here to the northeast. This isn't for the whole United States or anything, but this right here is just the first little shot of it, and that's going to be happening on March 1st, March 2nd, and that is going to set the stage for yet another round of very significant rainfall for the southeast. This is what I'm saying, guys. It's going to be a prolonged event, but after the first couple rounds, let's say you get 2 inches the first day, 1 inch the second day, you've got 3 inches of rain soaked into the ground, and then on the third day you get 3 inches all at once. That can lead to flash flooding. That's the kind of system that we're in right here. So here we are all the way on March 3rd. We're still dealing with heavy rain that moves off to the northeast, but here's where it starts to get interesting, okay? This is where we have the potential for that real big Arctic cool down in the northeast. Now, don't get me wrong, it's not as significant as what I showed in yesterday's video because it's taking long to get here, just like I said it would. But we do have an actual storm system now forming up here in the south. A 1005 millibar low pressure system that's going to try to form a wave right here. What happens with that as it moves forward? We've got an actual wave with cold air coming down behind it. Looks like Chicago might be in Snowtown, baby, for like 30 minutes on March 4th. St. Louis too, look at that. Once again, a 1005 millibar low pressure system moving through Kentucky. Then that is going to move up into the northeast. And look at this. This is interesting. This is the interesting part. 210 hours out on the Euro, maybe, possibly blizzard conditions for New York, Massachusetts, Vermont, and New Hampshire. Could this be our last shot at a very significant major winter storm on the East Coast? But as I pull that forward, look at this. Once again, blizzard conditions in Maine, blizzard conditions in Quebec, all the way up into New Brunswick, Nova Scotia, and some really intense cold air coming in behind it, okay? So that's what I'm talking about with that upcoming secondary Arctic blast. This is it, okay? A lot of you guys seem to not believe me yesterday. And, you know, it could not happen. I'm not saying that it's going to happen. I'm just here to talk about the models with you guys. But that's what the GFS is showing, okay? Let's take a look at total precipitation. And as you can see, our area of concern is down here in the southeast for that flooding. We have to talk about the potential for flooding here because it's real. I would start preparing for flooding if you live near El Dorado, Arkansas, Greenville, Mississippi, Clarksdale, Mississippi, Memphis, Tennessee, all the way down to Tupelo, Mississippi. Additionally, Columbia, Tennessee, Nashville, Tennessee, Cookeville, Tennessee, all the way up into Monticello, Kentucky, London and Corbin, Kentucky. I do think that this area is going to be prime time for flash flooding events. Now, as you can see, there's more rain out here, and it goes, you know, a little bit further north, a little bit further south, but this little streak right here is going to fall in the shortest period of time. So that's where I think that flash flooding is going to occur. So once again, if you live in those areas, start to prepare now. And also, I'm preparing because I live up here, but additionally, this may be my first official storm chase of the year. If it continues to look like a significant flooding situation is unfolding, I'm going to hop in the Storm Seeker and I'm going to go down there and chase this flood. Make sure you're following me on Facebook so you can see the live stream from that. That's right, I'm going to be live streaming the whole thing. And then if I get any good footage, I'll put together a storm chase video for this channel. All right, now let's talk about that cool down once more. Here comes that Arctic air. And as you can see, it's not nearly as intense as what we saw last time. We're talking about 0-degree temperatures up here in Maine and maybe getting down into the teens as far as Pennsylvania, upstate New York, this area right here. Now, wind chills, once again, that's going to be a little bit more intense. We're still talking about -10, possibly -20, but once again, this is not as intense as what we were seeing with that other run that we looked at yesterday, and that's a good thing. We don't want this Arctic cold to come down. Even if you're a snow lover, even if you want the snow, it doesn't take Arctic cold to make it snow, okay? It can be 32 degrees and be a blizzard outside. That can happen. All right, guys, that's all the weather talk I have for you today. And before you go, I do want to mention something really exciting. We now have our official clothing store, merch store, whatever you want to call it. You've probably seen it down below the video, but you can actually go to theweatherhut.com and check out our super awesome collection of hoodies, t-shirts, socks, pillows, phone cases, all this stuff. I'm going to be wearing mine in future videos, and I would love to see you wearing yours. So if you get one, whenever it comes in, make sure you snap a picture and send it to me on Twitter. All my social media stuff is down in the description below. Also, please make sure you remember to like this video every time. It helps a lot. Also, subscribe to the channel and turn notifications on because there's a lot more storms to track and you don't want to miss them. That's all I have for you today. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.